Surviving a volcanic eruption involves several key steps to ensure safety. First, always heed evacuation orders from local authorities. These are issued based on the latest data and are critical for safety. Before an eruption, prepare an emergency kit with essentials like water, food, medications, and important documents. During an eruption, seek shelter indoors, ideally in a room without windows, to avoid ash inhalation and debris. Use masks or damp cloths to cover your nose and mouth. For instance, during the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens, timely evacuation saved many lives. If caught outdoors, move uphill and away from rivers to avoid lahars, mud flows. Lastly, stay informed through reliable sources like radio updates or official websites. By following these precautions, you can significantly increase your chances of surviving a volcanic eruption. They're the Earth's way of letting off some steam. Imagine a boiling pot of water. The heat builds up pressure. Eventually, that pressure needs to escape. That's a volcano in a nutshell. Deep beneath our feet, the Earth is incredibly hot. So hot that rock melts into a liquid called magma. This magma is lighter than the surrounding rocks. It rises up through cracks in the Earth's crust. When the pressure gets too high, boom, you have an eruption. These eruptions can be explosive, sending ash and rock miles into the air. Or they can be slow and oozing, with lava creeping across the landscape. Either way, it's a raw display of nature's power. A volcano isn't just a random hole in the ground. It's a complex system with its own unique structure. Think of it like a tree, but instead of sap, it's filled with molten rock. At the heart of a volcano is the magma chamber. This is where the molten rock, or magma, hangs out before an eruption. Leading up from the magma chamber is the conduit, a pipe-like structure that acts as a pathway for the magma to reach the surface. The opening at the top is the crater. This is where all the action happens during an eruption. The shape and size of the crater can vary depending on the type of volcano and its history of eruptions. Some, like shield volcanoes, are broad and gently sloping, formed by slow-moving lava flows. Others, like stratovolcanoes, are steep and conical, built up by layers of ash and lava. Volcanoes aren't randomly scattered across the globe. They tend to cluster in specific areas, mainly along the edges of tectonic plates. These plates are giant slabs of rock that make up the Earth's crust. They're in constant motion, albeit very slow. Where these plates collide or move apart, you get volcanic activity. One of the most volcanically active regions is the Pacific Ring of Fire. It's a horseshoe-shaped zone that stretches around the Pacific Ocean. This ring of fire is home to over 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes. It's a volatile neighborhood, to say the least. Take Mount Vesuvius in Italy, for example. Its eruption in 79 AD buried the Roman city of Pompeii under ash and pumice. Or consider Mount St. Helens in the United States, whose 1980 eruption was the deadliest in U.S. history.
Section 5. Be prepared. Gearing up for a volcanic event. Living near a volcano might seem risky, but with the right preparation, you can significantly increase your chances of survival. Remember, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
The first step is to have an emergency plan in place. This should include evacuation routes, communication strategies, and designated meeting points. Make sure everyone in your household knows the plan and practices it regularly.
Next, assemble an emergency kit. This should contain essential supplies to last you for at least 72 hours. Think food, water, first aid supplies, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, and extra batteries. Don't forget important documents like identification and insurance papers too.
Section 6. Staying alive during an eruption. Volcanic eruptions are a survival situation like no other. The ground shakes, the air fills with ash, and the sky turns a menacing shade of gray. It's a true test of your instincts and your ability to stay calm under pressure.
If an eruption is imminent, evacuation is your best bet. Follow the instructions of local authorities and evacuate immediately. Don't try to outrun a volcano. It's a race you can't win.
If evacuation isn't possible, seek shelter indoors. Close and seal all windows and doors to keep out volcanic ash. Ash is a serious respiratory hazard, so wear a mask or use a damp cloth to cover your nose and mouth.
Section 7. After the ashes settle. Recovery and rebuilding. The immediate aftermath of a volcanic eruption can be a surreal and devastating experience. The landscape is transformed, the air is thick with ash, and the silence is deafening. But even in the face of such destruction, the human spirit has an incredible ability to recover and rebuild.
Once the eruption has subsided and authorities deem it safe, you can begin the process of returning home and assessing the damage. Be cautious, as hazards may still exist, such as unstable structures, volcanic ash, and lingering gas emissions.
Wear protective gear, including a mask, goggles, and gloves when cleaning up ash. Ash is corrosive and can damage your lungs, skin, and eyes. Dispose of ash properly to avoid clogging drains and contaminating water sources.
Remember, recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. Section 8. Lessons learned. History as our teacher. Throughout history, volcanic eruptions have left an indelible mark on humanity. From the destruction of Pompeii to the eruption of Krakatoa, these events have taught us valuable lessons about the power of nature and the importance of preparedness. One key takeaway is the importance of heeding warnings from scientists and authorities. Volcanoes give off signals before they erupt, and understanding these signals can save lives. Ignoring these warnings can have catastrophic consequences. Another lesson is the need for effective communication and coordination during a volcanic crisis. Clear communication channels, timely evacuations, and efficient distribution of aid are crucial for minimizing casualties and facilitating recovery. Perhaps the most important lesson of all is the resilience of the human spirit. Section 9. Strength in unity, community, and government response. When a volcano erupts, it's not just a test for individuals, but also a test for the entire community. A coordinated and effective response from both local communities and government agencies is crucial for minimizing the impact of the disaster. Local communities are often the first responders in a volcanic eruption. Neighbors help neighbors, providing assistance, shelter, and support. Community organizations, such as the Red Cross, step in to provide aid, resources, and comfort. Government agencies play a critical role in coordinating the larger response effort. This includes everything from issuing evacuation orders and providing emergency services to distributing aid and overseeing the long-term recovery process. Effective communication and collaboration between communities and government agencies are essential for a successful response. This includes sharing information, coordinating efforts, and working together to address the needs of those affected by the disaster. Remember, we're all in this together. Section 10. Volcano myths busted, separating fact from fiction. Volcanic eruptions have captivated the human imagination for centuries, inspiring myths, legends, and misconceptions. Let's debunk some of the most common myths surrounding these powerful forces of nature. Volcanoes are notoriously unpredictable. While scientists can monitor for signs of unrest, predicting the exact timing of an eruption remains a challenge. Volcanic eruptions can vary widely in intensity and style. Some eruptions are explosive, while others are effusive, with lava flows posing the primary hazard. Volcanic ash is made up of tiny, jagged particles of rock and glass. It's abrasive, corrosive, and can be harmful if inhaled. Pyroclastic flows are fast-moving avalanches of hot gas and volcanic debris that can travel at speeds of up to 400 miles per hour. Section 11. The Mental Mountain. Coping with the emotional fallout. Experiencing a volcanic eruption can be a deeply traumatic event. The loss of homes, livelihoods, and even loved ones can leave lasting emotional scars. It's important to acknowledge the psychological impact of such disasters and seek support when needed. Common reactions to trauma include shock, fear, anxiety, sadness, anger, and guilt. These emotions are normal and understandable. Don't bottle them up or try to tough it out alone. Talking to friends, family, or a therapist can help you process your emotions and develop coping mechanisms. Support groups can also provide a sense of community and shared experience. Remember, recovery from trauma takes time. Be patient with yourself, practice self-care, and seek professional help if you need it. You're not alone in this journey.
Common reactions to trauma include shock, fear, anxiety, sadness, anger, and guilt. These emotions are normal and understandable. Don't bottle them up or try to tough it out alone. Talking to friends, family, or a therapist can help you process your emotions and develop coping mechanisms.